All right, we're looking at lateral scales and the G7 chord, or the 5 chord in the key of C. Now, in order to get a G7 chord out of the key of C, or the C major scale, we start on the 5th degree of the scale, C to E, F, G, and we build the chord in thirds, G, B, D, and F. But that looks to be a 4-note chord, and we're studying triads, so let's take a look at just getting rid of the D note, or the 5th of the chord. And that's cool. You can do that. It's allowed. The G, or the root of the chord, so strongly implies the 5th of the chord that this becomes a perfectly viable and common voicing. Okay. Now let's take a look at what happens up and down the fretboard with that chord. So first of all, let's just do the lateral C major scale on string 2. Okay, and let's just recall the C chord. And you should be able to do this after the C to 1 to 4 video. Each one of these is just a 1 to a 4 on string set 2. Now we're going to add the G7 chord with no 5th. Here's the first one. G7 chord, G7 chord, no 5th, G7, no 5th, G7, and you can hear those, right? Now we're going to do just a 5-1 progression. So 1, 5, 1. C, G7, C. C, C. Back down. And now let's do 1, 4, 5, 1. 1. 1, 5, 1, 1. Back down. Okay, and now if we just take a look at what's happening laterally, remember we started with this C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. You'll notice that if we just want to play a chord on each of those notes, a 1 chord, a 4 chord, or a 5 chord, we're going to come up short on the D note because we took that D note out of the G7 chord. So we don't have it anymore. So how do we harmonize this D note with one of the 1, 4, 5 chords? The way we do that is take out the root instead of the 5th, okay? And so here we have a G7 with a D note in it, back in it, and we don't have a G root, right? And that's perfectly cool. You can do that. It happens all the time. This will become more and more clear as you move on through this whole thing. So I'll show you what I mean. So now we have here's our scale, right? And here's the listen to the scale notes. And yeah. There's the G7 without the root. Now there you have more than one option with the C. With the C, you could play the C or the F because both of those chords have a C in it, and with let's see, with C and of course the G chord, the G7 chord has a G in it, and so does the C, right? So you have these those options. You have a couple of options for some of the notes, right? But the idea is that you connect these lateral scales across the fretboard. So that is a G7 chord string set to laterally across the fretboard with the C major scale. And the G7 chord, you can eliminate the root of the chord or you can eliminate the fifth of the chord. And you'll still have the gist of the chord, which is that tritone. Right? That's what gives the seventh chord its quality, is that tritone. And we haven't messed with the tritone. As long as the tritone is there, you've got a G7. We'll more on the tritone later. And I think that's it for today. I hope that helps you work that up and down the fretboard, and you'll learn a lot. Thanks for stopping by. See you soon.